What we do with an ASIN is look at how we can best support our members. And one of the ways we do that is we look at the mega trends. The big mega trends that we have in the industry is automated, connected, electric, and shared. But then that brings up actually what the strength of Techworks is that when we start looking at those automotive mega trends, actually we can start talking to the IoTSF, we can start talking to NMI about how all of these things interlink. And so as ASIN, we work very closely with the other networks within the Techworks family. To some extent, all of these mega trends now are coming to fruition. As Peter was saying, actually, all of our cars now are automated to some extent. I don't think you can buy a car legally now in the UK that isn't connected. Everything is turning electric. Probably the only one that we're not really seeing movement on is shared as a result of COVID. But if COVID hadn't happened, there would have been a lot more movement on shared mobility. And so these mega trends are really driving everything that the automotive industry is doing. And we're uniquely positioned to support the industry. We've got members throughout the industry at all levels of the supply chain. And a good example of that is our executive steering board. We've got people from the OEMs, the Fords, the Nissans, Jaguar Land Rover, Aston Martin. We've got people in the supply chain, if you look at NXP, Renesas, Williams Advanced Engineering, McLaren Applied, all through the supply chain, but even through to the government quangos like the Catapults, Zenzik, but also infrastructure. Vodafone, working out how we can make that communication in the automotive industry work that much better. So we're a really broad church trying to move the issues that face the automotive industry forward. So how do we do that? Well, I've got some of the highlights from the last 21 months. There are many, many, many more. So please come and talk to me over this afternoon and this evening if you want to know about any of these. But we do a lot of government engagement first off. That's getting the views of our members into government into the right ways. One big way we did that was with a piece of work we called EE25, Enabling Embedded 25. I wasn't sure about the name myself either, but it was sort of catchy. This was a piece of work to say, actually, the embedded electronics, embedded software industry is a massive underpinning industry for automotive and many other industries as well. And this is something that's under-researched, underfunded at the moment. And we were trying to lobby government essentially to put more funding into this because many of our members work in this area, but it's an often forgotten underpinning technology for many of the automotive industry players. We also work with the Automotive Council, so the Automotive Council feeds into government, and we work in particular on the ICAM group, which is Intelligent, Connected and Automated Mobility. So we look after many of the subgroups in that group in terms of electronic components, security, V&V, validation and verification, and skills. So again, a really, really broad church, but feeding into a lot of the decisions that the Automotive Council makes that gets pushed up into government and then eventually becomes some sort of policy. We also have an active role in a project called Escape. Now, this is an APC grant-funded project, but it's a really important project because it's all about creating a supply chain in the UK for silicon carbide semiconductors. And this is a great example of how the work we do in ASIN can move across to the other networks within Techworks. And our job there is as the industry steering group, so we work with the collaborators on the project, taking that out into industry and making sure that everything that's being done on that project, the government's paying for half of it, but everything that's being done on that project actually is going to bring value for not only the companies that are putting their own money into it, but also the UK government, who are expecting to see, of course, an increased industry and ultimately increased tax revenue from this. So again, it's really important that we can be there steering the industry and making sure we're looking at the right things. Other ways we do that, we have partnerships and close working relationships with many other industry bodies. We have a memorandum of understanding with the Transport Technology Forum, not a member of Techworks, but another similar sort of network that looks at how technology can be better used in the infrastructure side of transport. So sharing information on connected and highly automated vehicle technology and how we can increase and speed up the rollout of that technology onto our roads. We have an MOU with SEMI. SEMI are I believe, the world's largest industry body for the semiconductor industry. I think we have Laith here, he's supposed to be here this afternoon. And one way we work with them is through their Global Automotive Advisory Council. So this has many of the big automotive OEMs on, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, for example, and we talk to them about silicon carbide. This is a big thing that's coming up into the automotive industry, silicon carbide power electronics, and so we're working with them on the standards and how that can be implemented in the automotive industry. When we talk about autonomous vehicles and the cybersecurity that goes along with that, we work with CCAV, which is the, I can't remember what CCAV stands for, Connected, Centre for Connected, and that's the one. And Zenzi, but all around the connected autonomous mobility roadmaps. We helped develop the roadmaps for these government bodies so that they know where to focus their funding, where to focus the efforts, and how to build these industries up. The Advanced Propulsion Centre probably has the largest amount of funding for the UK automotive industry. We've got engagement right at the very top of the Advanced Propulsion Centre, and our More Electric Powertrain workstream works very closely with the leadership at the APC. Driving the Electric Revolution, I saw Will Drury left about 5 minutes ago, which was nice of him, but again, we've got continued engagement on power electronics, machines and drives with Driving the Electric Revolution, another core government initiative, and we sit on the steering group for that so that we can make sure that our members' interests are taken care of, but also the wider industry as well. CSA Catapult, again, another government quango, as well as the high-value manufacturing catapult. We're working with all of these people to make sure that the needs of the automotive industry, our members, but also the wider industry in the UK and wider than that and abroad, are met and are being heard. And we do that through our work streams. We have 5 core work streams plus a skills research work stream. The first is clean and connected mobility. And you can start to see how these align to those industry megatrends. So the clean and connected mobility starts aligning to that connected megatrend for vehicles. So this is accelerating efficient connectivity to enable smoother journeys in road transportation to leverage the associated safety, environmental and comfort benefits. That was a mouthful, I apologise. But it's all about, again, making sure we can make the most of these connected vehicles and the rollout of this technology is going to be smooth and help those businesses that we support. We have a work stream on ADAS and highly automated vehicles, accelerating the delivery of functional, safe and robust automated vehicle technology. More electric powertrain, again, this is all about the net zero story, and to some extent this is both a problem child and a success story, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Our More Electric Powertrain group was quite large a few years ago and was doing good stuff, but actually we've seen this is one part of those megatrends that has moved forward and the industry has taken hold of it. The government has really taken hold of it and is pushing legislation to move us all towards net zero, as I'm sure you know about. And actually we find that there's not a lot for this group to do now. We've almost got to the point where we've said, you know what, this agenda is being taken seriously at all levels through the industry, all levels through government and everything else. So we're trying to work out how we can add value. But I see this as a success story that we've really taken our members' needs and wants and made sure government listens and made sure the industry listens. Security, you heard Peter talking earlier. We do a lot of work on digital resilience and survivability, and with the work that Peter's doing, we're really at the forefront of that in the automotive industry. We have a software team which sort of sits, a software work stream which sort of sits along, underneath all of these or goes along through all of these, looking at the future of mobility to cover the full life cycle of systems, underpinning the work being done in the other work streams. And our research advisory board, we need to make sure that everything we do is backed up by the latest research, and then what we're doing is relevant, but also science-based, and follows the latest thinking. So we accelerate the availability of highly needed research, but also skills. Something that was mentioned earlier a couple of times is a skills gap we see, and maybe if you're a Google or an Apple, I think with the examples given, you don't have a skills problem, but many people do, and making sure we've got the right feedstock of skilled individuals, of graduates, is really important, and that's a common issue that we see in the industry. So we do a lot of work as well pushing on the skills side of our industry. And that's me. That's what I want to talk about. So any questions, let me know. Thank you.